losing the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It has been quite a long time. I hope you guys have all been enjoying your summer so far. Today I want to sit down and answer one of the most frequent questions I get here on YouTube and on Twitter and pretty much everywhere else. And that question is, did I quit Black Ops 4? No doubt you guys have noticed a bit of a content drought here on the channel as of recently. Lately I've been covering a lot of Modern Warfare 4 news and even some Call of Duty World War II, but the last time I made a proper Black Ops 4 video was the Days of Summer event when that first came out, when we saw how Activision locked a bunch of weapons behind supply drops. Well, the answer to the question is yes, I do still play Black Ops 4, and I still play it quite often. The clip you guys saw at the very beginning of the video may have seemed super random, but it actually served a purpose. That Molotov kill I got on Grind was the final challenge I needed to complete, the 100%er challenge. I now have every single challenge completed in the Black Ops 4 multiplayer, though sadly, like most things with this game, unlocking 100%er was actually pretty anticlimactic. As you guys saw, nothing pops up, there's no notification, the journey just kind of comes to an end. In fact, if I didn't know where to look, I would have no idea that I even unlocked anything after finishing up every challenge in the game, because when you go back to the main menu, literally nothing happens. What you have to do is go to the calling card section, scroll over to the master section, and then the 100%er calling card is there waiting for you. Now I will say, it was actually a lot of fun to complete all these challenges. It actually kept the game interesting during the content droughts, and it had me working towards something, but now I'm kind of left here wondering, what am I going to do next? We've talked several times here in the channel about how Treyarch has been handling Black Ops 4 so far. At first, when the game first came out and when it was first announced, it looked like this was going to be the biggest Call of Duty game ever, with more updates than ever before, and it was going to be a 3-year title, but as I'm sure you guys are all well aware, that really hasn't played out so far. Now I will say, I still really do enjoy Black Ops 4. From a pure gameplay perspective, Black Ops 4 is one of my favorite titles in the franchise. I love the gunplay, I love these score streaks, I like how these specialists work and how they interact with different game modes and on different maps, but on the flip side of things, I also really enjoy bare bones. Like, the game is fun with or without specialists in my opinion, and for me personally, the 150 base health along with the super slow time to kill are two really fun gameplay mechanics that make Black Ops 4 feel a lot different than the previous games, and I really do enjoy the gameplay that Black Ops 4 has to offer. The issue, however, is everything else, right? Whether we're talking about the lack of weapons we had at launch, or the lack of original multiplayer maps that keep things interesting long term, or the month-long content droughts that we have in between multiplayer updates, I think we can all agree that the post-launch support for Black Ops 4 has been pretty horrendous so far from a multiplayer perspective. Blackout fans, they're sitting pretty right now. Blackout has been fantastic the whole way through, but the multiplayer has kind of been left behind, and I think this actually kicks up a pretty interesting conversation topic. Why is it that post-launch support of a Call of Duty game is such a big deal nowadays as compared to the old days? Back in Call of Duty 4, or Modern Warfare 2, or the original Black Ops, or even Black Ops 2, there was virtually no post-launch support whatsoever, and we all really enjoyed those games. What's the difference between those games and their post-launch support and the games that we see nowadays? Back then, all Treyarch and Infinity Ward would do is release 4 or so map packs throughout the year. They would attempt to fix bugs, but it would take them a very long time. I'm looking at you, Modern Warfare 2. And we never really had anything in the form of events, or battle passes, or even post-launch DLC weapons. Well, I think the answer to the question is times have changed, not only here in the Call of Duty franchise, but in the gaming industry as a whole. Back in 2009, Call of Duty was still relatively new, and we all enjoyed the gameplay that the Call of Duty franchise had to offer. Heck, I think that's actually still true, right? The reason why you're on my channel here today is you're either a huge Call of Duty fan, or you were a huge Call of Duty fan that maybe doesn't play the game that much anymore, or maybe is taking a break from the franchise, but you're still interested in Call of Duty and what's happening with it, because why else would you be here on NerosCinema, right? We all enjoy the Call of Duty franchise, and there's a reason why COD continues to be the best-selling game every single year. It's the core gameplay of fast-paced gunfights combined with objective play, and the earning of kill streaks, and the unlocking of new levels, and camos, and prestiges, and all that great stuff. It's fun. The Call Call of Duty franchise is fun, right? But the big difference between Call of Duty now and Call of Duty back then is we've all been playing the franchise for years now. For me personally, it's been since 2007. For you, it may be since 2012 or 2015 or maybe even 2003. Call of Duty's not a new franchise anymore, and it still has a relatively similar gameplay system year after year, even though they make changes with advanced movement and extra health and things like that, and we have different developers and different sub-franchises. It's still Call of Duty, right? Every game is still COD, and so now more than ever, the developers have to work really hard to keep fans interested and playing the game long term. I think that, combined with the fact that Call of Duty has much more competition now, is why post-launch support is much more important these days as compared to back in the day. The competition that COD has here in 2019 is exponentially more threatening than what it was like 10 years ago. Every game these days is hosting events. Every game is putting out update after update, and every game is giving their fans more reasons than ever before to sign in and play, because these game developers and these publishers, they want people spending their time and money on their game, not the games that other companies are putting out. Competition is usually a good thing, right? It typically brings out the best between two parties, but sometimes that's not always the case. A huge upside to the competition that we have here in the gaming industry in 2019 is that games are fighting harder than ever to keep you interested, but the downside is the industry as a whole is reaching an unsustainable point where shareholders and publishers expect profits to grow and grow and grow year after year, even though games are breaking records already year after year, but it's never enough, right? If you guys remember, Black Ops 4 had a really good launch, and it made a ton of money, and it continues to make tons and tons of money, hand over fist, with the black market, but that's never enough, which is why, with the recent Days of Summer update, Activision and Treyarch decided to put new weapons in supply drops with really no way of earning them outside of sheer luck. Regardless of how well a game does at launch or post-launch or what have you, companies like Activision are never satisfied with the amount of money they bring in, so eventually, inevitably, things start to take a turn for the worse. At least when it comes to old games, back in the Call of Duty heyday of 2007 to 2012, games would release with a ton of launch day content that would keep us interested throughout the year until the next Call of Duty game came out, right? But nowadays, it seems like games are releasing with less maps and less guns than ever before, so instead of players getting the feeling that these updates are adding to the game, instead it almost feels like every update is making the game feel more and more like it should have felt back when the game first came out. It goes back to why I keep saying post-launch content should be the icing on the cake, but in the case of Black Ops 4, and to a lesser extent Call of Duty World War II, the post-launch content is the cake, and we're basically starving, waiting on that cake throughout the entire year. Now going back to it, going full circle here, now that I've completed every challenge in the Black Ops 4 multiplayer, I'm in a weird position where I'm going to be waiting even more on new content updates. During the content droughts previously, and we've had some terrible ones, we went months with nothing here in the multiplayer, during that time I would find fun in getting my 50 wins while playing Heist, or running around in bare bones trying to get Molotov kills, or trying to get objective kills with specialist equipment during the Nuketown playlist, or whatever random challenge it was that I was working on, right? Even though the reward at the end of it was terrible, and I could sit here for another 20 minutes discussing the double standard that we have, expecting Master Prestige rewards from Sledgehammer, but not from Treyarch, even though the reward sucked, I was still finding the game to be enjoyable regardless of the reward, because I enjoyed completing the challenges and unlocking the different things and just playing the game in general. The problem is now, going forward, the only potential reward I have for my playtime is going to be the possibility of unlocking DLC weapons through supply drops. Of course, when new battle passes come out and new events and stuff like that, I can do that, but in between those updates, the only thing I have to play for now in the Black Ops 4 multiplayer would be the possibility of unlocking DLC weapons through supply drops, and because of that, I'm not sure how much fun I'm going to be able to have with the Black Ops 4 multiplayer anymore. I still thoroughly enjoy the gameplay aspect of it, but without that little extra something to keep me going, I'm worried that Black Ops 4 is going to become stale. I've already done literally everything that the game has to offer from a multiplayer perspective, though thankfully I have some good news regarding that, because today, Treyarch made some pretty encouraging announcements regarding the future of Black Ops 4. As you guys may have heard, contracts are going to be coming to the game, and today we got to learn a lot more about them, and here is what we know so far. Contracts are going to be added to the game for all platforms on June 25th. They will be available across all game modes, and they are going to vary from easy to hard, and the rewards are going to include bonus experience, bonus merits, bonus plasma, as well as reserve cases. Contracts will rotate daily, and there will be up to 28 of them active at any given time, and on top of all that, they've also announced that later on in Operation Spectre Rising, probably after the Days of Summer event ends, they are going to be adding a new event where we'll be able to earn Ultra Weapon Bribes. Now, the difference between an Ultra Weapon Bribe as compared to the normal weapon bribe that we find here with Days of Summer is the Ultra Weapon Bribe is going to be guaranteed to give you a weapon that you do not own. So, for example, if you missed out on something like the Daemon or the SWAT or what have you, you're guaranteed to get one of the weapons that you don't own, and after you have all the base weapons in the game, you will then start to unlock with these weapon bribes the Mark II variants and the Mastercrafts and pretty much everything else. So basically, with contracts, we're going to be earning more supply drops than ever before, and with Ultra Weapon Bribes, we're going to be guaranteed to unlock weapons that we don't already own, which is definitely pretty good, right? The only downside to this is with the new Ultra Weapon Bribe system, we don't know exactly how many of them we're going to be able to earn. Treyarch claims that with the new event that is coming, we're going to get one Ultra Weapon Bribe through the new Battle Pass, but that's pretty much all we know so far. They did say we can expect to earn even more of them in the future, but as of right now, we don't know exactly how the system is going to work, so this is definitely going to be a pretty interesting change to the Black Ops 4 multiplayer. I'm personally pretty excited for contracts to be added to the game. I feel as though they're going to give fans a lot more to do and more reason to sign in, but I suppose we're going to have to wait and see how things are going to play out, because I know for a lot of you guys out there, contracts are going to be too little too late, right? But for other fans out there that still play and still enjoy Black Ops 4, this new system is going to make the game more enjoyable and give you more things to do. So I'm interested to see how the community is going to react to contracts once they are released, and I'm also interested to see how the future of Black Ops 4 is going to play out, because we do know for a fact that we have several operations and events coming before the release of Modern Warfare, and with the lingering promise that Black Ops 4 is going to be a 3-year game, even though Treyarch has been conscripted into making Call of Duty 2020, I feel as though it's going to be a very interesting couple of months here in the Call of Duty franchise. And as always, I will do my best to keep you guys posted with more details as they become available, but for right now, that's pretty much all I have for you guys here in this video. I wanted to give you an update on the channel and talk about Black Ops 4 and whether or not I'm still playing it, and talk about the future of Black Ops 4 and things that are going to be happening, and I would love to hear down there in the comments, do you still play Black Ops 4? Why or why not? And what do you think about the future of the game and where it's headed? Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you guys all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.